welcome to the B Team Podcast. I am your host, Josh Safran, with my co-host,
Matt Mars,
and our permanent guest,
Rob Nelson.
We're here every week to talk to you about all things Bentonville, bourbon, and business. The B Team Podcast. Be here. Welcome to the B Team Podcast. I'm your host, Josh Safran, with our co-host,
Matt Mars,
and our permanent guest,
Rob Nelson. I'm still here, 2025. Here we go.
Wow. You on something today?
No, sir.
Yeah. See how quick he said all that?
Super quick.
That's right. It's going to be the year getting stuff done.
Wow.
Yep.
I think it's because he was talking, we should go to the casino tonight, so he's wanting to get out of here.
He wants to film and get out. We're here every Thursday, Bobby.
Every Thursday.
Bentonville business and bourbon.
Yep.
And what are we drinking today, Matthew? I brought it in. A good bottle today.
Yeah, this is wood finishing series Maker's Mark.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm ready. I'm excited to try it.
Wasn't like chapter 2 or something
Well,
like that?
that's what he was really talking it up, but then I was reading the side and it said it's the second release of 2024.
Yeah.
So we didn't make the first, but it's like the B Team.
Yeah.
For number 2.
We are off to a fantastic start today. Will you pour for our guest first?
Yeah, I'm going to pour for our guest.
All right. You hear that little pop? It's fresh.
Yeah, I mean, look at this.
Where'd you find that bottle, Josh?
I found it at a liquor store down in Springdale.
Oh, shout out to Springdale.
Are we saying names? Are we saying
town?
brands? Are we saying anybody?
Yeah,
it
we
was
could say
Cheers.
everything.
Okay.
Okay.
Jim, good shout out to Jim Phillips. So the owner of Cheers.
Shout out to Jim. I knew you'd add
absolutely.
value right out of the gate. We haven't even introduced you yet. You're adding value.
Maybe we get him on the podcast.
Yeah.
My permanent guest.
Hey,
Now.
I'm fine with that.
You don't need me to muck this up whatsoever.
Oh, it's already mucked up enough.
Yeah, I was my first question.
Well, cheers.
Yeah.
You can't drink it
Cheers.
before we
Cheers, gentlemen.
Josh,
Cheers.
You're
Sorry,
off your
I'll
game
smell it.
here in 2025. Must be in the doghouse or something.
Makers, nice.
Ooh, that's good.
Really
That's
good.
solid.
That's really, really
That's
good.
really good. How much was that?
$70. And look, we always struggle with the tasting notes. This is a shout out to Russ. It's got caramel, chocolate, and maple. See that?
Yeah.
Who'd have known it?
Yeah.
Is that white chocolate or dark chocolate?
Chocolate bits.
Chocolate bits. Got it.
Chocolate bits.
Chocolate bits. I'm making this up as we go. But
This is good.
it's really good, right?
Yeah, it is really good.
I like
Very
this.
good.
And very rarely do we all agree.
Yeah. And
Right.
I think this is the first time Josh has brought something that's really good.
Worthwhile.
Yeah.
What do you normally bring?
Well,
Nothing.
no, that's not true. We brought in the
1792, you're a big fan of.
Bottle and Bond. I like that one. And then we did the 12-year. Brought the 1792 12-year.
That was nice.
No,
I brought a nice 12-year.
you didn't. You didn't bring
No,
anything
you
up.
haven't brought anything
I
in.
thought I brought that Yellowstone.
Was I supposed to bring in some sort of
No,
whiskey?
no.
You're just supposed to bring your amazing talent to
Well,
to help
that
shine
remains
this up
to
a
be
little
seen. See how that goes the rest of this, but that's delicious.
Isn't it good?
Yeah, no, it really is.
My brother's he's brand specific, and he is a huge Makers fan. Of all the whiskeys, he's more brand loyal to Makers than any of them, and that's great.
Yeah,
That's really good.
I'm not a huge Maker's guy. I mean, I like him in my old fashions,
I like it.
but this was
This
really good.
This isn't an old fashioned one. It's
No,
good.
this is a drinker.
This is sipper.
I might even trade you for
Some
a
Dragonfly.
special one that I have.
It's smooth. It doesn't burn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's great.
And to your point, it's very rare that the three of us like the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that was what I said.
Well, I was trying to help you out with some talent.
You guys don't have the same opinions normally.
We have different palates.
Oh, okay.
Usually these
but we all
two-
had lunch together, so our palates were probably aligned, as Russ
Yeah.
would say.
Yeah.
That could be it.
Where'd you guys lunch?
Torchies.
Oh, okay.
Are you a
It's
Torches
literally
guy?
No, Torches is great, and I know that it's like 200 feet from
Yes.
this very room,
could've
so that's
walked
tough to
there.
lose. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we're-
yeah,
But we didn't.
Yeah.
No.
Rob was disappointed that he thought we could stay a little bit longer.
I was trying to finish my beer.
And we got here and we had to wait for 3 minutes. So he was like, we could have still been there, you guys.
The great thing about this location, the Cameron, rest his soul, Cameron Smith, told me 10, 15 years ago, you wait, that whole area is going to turn out to be like the Times Square of Benton County in Northwest Arkansas. And now, as we enter 2025, there's nothing it doesn't have. And it's got everything. It's got every kind of restaurant. It's got every kind of business. I mean, obviously, it's not just suppliers and things like that. It's really accessible to the people that live in, Southern Rogers and over on into Bentonville. And it's a great area. It's really cool.
I have to drag these guys. These guys are Bentonville. They're a little snooty, so I have to drag them down to Rogers every once in a while. And we get them here, and then they want to go back to Bentonville.
Is Rogers that sort of a foreign land to people from Bentonville? Is it because I think most people perceive them to be sort of like
he lives on the square.
Worth. Yeah,
I live right off the square, so for us, it's easy just to walk out the front door and be somewhere.
You live off the Bentonville Square? Yeah. Congratulations! Just doing this podcast, your property's gone up $11 a square foot, I think.
I'll take it.
I know. And you will take it at some point. Yeah. You will absolutely take it. Congratulations.
Yeah. I mean, I've grabbed my ankle a few times on that property.
No longer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great area. Yeah, this whole area is great. There's nothing bad. Benton County specifically
That's right.
is just popping.
Well, let's formally introduce you before we get into all of the amazing content you're gonna deliver for us today.
I mean, Northwest Arkansas knows us, but we don't know if they know you.
They don't know who you are. I mean, everybody knows the B team. I mean, we're gonna introduce you to the world today, John. This is a big day.
We're releasing.
You groansed up and you groansed up and you groansed up.
Well, world, this is John Williams, half of John and Deke.
Yes.
The MC of pretty much every charity event in the region that is worth. Right?
I believe I have emceed quite literally every nonprofit event in Northwest Arkansas the last 30 years.
And the voice of the Razorbacks.
Yes. I still can't believe it every day that I get to do what I get to do with the Razorbacks. It's an absolute blessing, and I love it. And when I have to give credit where credit's due, because Hunter Yurachek is the one who wanted to really implement having fan engagement with MCs on the court and on the field. And when he took over from the previous regime, that was something he implemented. And so I've been the on-court MC for men's basketball and for football. This will be going on my 8th year.
Did you have to interview for this?
Oh, no. They came and they pretty much told me that this is what you're going to do. You're going to go down there. We're going to give you cue cards, and you're going to do stuff where not only are you interacting with the fans, we're going to have it to where it's all sponsored with our partners like Whataburger and all that. And it's a blast. I have a great time.
Whataburger too. That was
shout out to Whataburger.
Well, that's the Razorback side.
That was good though.
And it's funny because with what I do with the Razorbacks, there's all partners and everything they do, whether it's Zips Car Wash, Whataburger, or whatever I'm doing.
Getting all the plugs in today.
But that's for the Razorbacks. I don't see a dime of any of that. But I've got my own show and what I do with Deke, where we have our own partners. And so, it's like parallel lives I have with like different genres and different partners and things like that.
So let's stay on the Razorbacks for a little bit. Do you script out your own stuff? Like, how do you decide what you're going to do during each game?
Well, the games I MC where I'm on the court and on the field, it's very scripted. Everything is done through elements, whether it's the Coca-Cola T-shirt toss or, like the horror. We'll get into Whataburger tic-tac-toe. I'm going to tell you, tic-tac-toe seems like a really easy game until you get on the floor of Bud Walton Arena and you're having to make layups and then run to midcourt and put your X somewhere. At some point between what normal people do for tic-tac-toe and then what people do on Bud Walton Arena floor, I don't know where the disconnect or the cognitive dissonance is, but it just absolutely goes haywire. And
there's nothing better than when somebody's supposed to block that and they're not paying attention.
First of all, let's start with why do people not immediately go to the middle square? Like that's just 101.
Yeah.
And they never do. They always go to one of the sides or the corners and immediately go, here we go. This is where it screws up. And so that's all. I mean, obviously that is ad-libbed within the confines of the prepared bit where they tell you that you've got 60 to 90 seconds to get these, two people out there to play tic-tac-toe or half-court shot or guess what the fries are hiding in which box or whatever. That stuff is ad-libbed, but for the most part, it's all within the columns of making sure the partners are taken care of. Yeah.
And when you pick the people to come out, again, do you do that?
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay.
They try to find younger people for like the easier games, but
we'll never get in.
No. I mean, when I mean younger people, I'm talking, like grade school and stuff like that. And that's the unpredictable part of it is like you'll think that these games are easy, like tic-tac-toe. Once you're doing them in front of about 20,000 people, you'll find they are not easy. And then you have to basically roll with it. And that's I think that's why they hired me, is because that's all I've done for 32 years is ad lib and do stuff off the top of my head with Deke and things like that. And it's a blast. Again, I'm so blessed to be able to do it. I love it.
I got called down when I was probably 22, 23. I got called on Madison Square Garden to go shoot. And Madison Square Garden, I mean, it's like Celebrity Row, like all around.
What year was this?
Oh, it had to be 99, 2000.
Was it Knicks or Rangers?
New York Knicks.
Okay.
They called me down to do some shooting contest. And I was a decent basketball player, and I looked around, and I'm like, my legs were so...
You forget everything you ever learned about basketball.
I shot up an air ball, and they booed me, and I went back to my seats, and my friends were laughing at me so bad. Like, I thought you were good at basketball. Yeah, it's nerve-wracking.
You forget all your mechanics.
Yeah.
You forget everything you ever knew. Your elbow doesn't stay in. Nothing happens that's supposed to happen. I did the same thing in high school. I was really good at basketball, and we pooled our money, and they had raffles, and then they would pull a ticket, and then if you made the shot, you get all the money, and if you don't, then they keep the money, and they know you're not going to make the shot because you're going to joke. And so I told all my friends, I'm like, guys, let's all do this, and if any of you get the ticket, I'll shoot the free throw because, man, I'm like 90%. I'm a lock. And sure enough, one of my friends got the ticket. They go, John, get out there. And I mean, I didn't airball it, but I completely missed the rim. I hit like the gray. Oh, it was
a little rubber bumper underneath.
35 years later, I hear about it, and it hit the rubber bumper on the bottom of the.
Is there video of this somewhere we can get?
Thank God, no, because I went to high school in like the Civil War era,
That was
and
before that.
there is nothing. Thank God. And so then, like about a month later, I begged him. I go, let's do it again. I'll make it. And I didn't make it. No one ever talks about that. It's always the absolute disaster class of a free throw I shot.
Because there's no proof that you made it either.
Yeah, whatever is going to actually do it better is going to be the thing. And the better bit for them is to mock me and how I did.
Oh, it's more fun.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, we don't do any of that.
No.
Well,
we have a friend that's a golfer, and he's excellent, but he said the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like he played in college, but he goes, the difference between me and pros is they can do that with 20,000 people standing there. And he's like, when I go out there, I forget how to golf.
Yeah. When it's goons like me, the muscle memory just goes away. And I will never forget that. I've had it with hole-in-one contests where I'm really cocky, and I'm like, oh, what is this, 138? It's a knockdown wedge, and you got just blade it right over the green in front of everybody. And
then you can stand in front of 20,000 people or 50,000 people, and you're
the
great.
muscle memory of me speaking into a microphone is far more honed than my awful free throw shooting and my 9-iron. That I can do all day long.
Yeah, but a lot of people can't stand up and talk in front of an audience. People would say shooting a free throw is a lot easier than standing there talking in front of 20,000 people.
Well, shooting a free throw is easy. Making the free throw is not as easy.
That's
and
fair.
Anyone can do that. I proved that. I mean, it was, oh, God. If there was video of that, I would be awfully embarrassed. But, Madison Square Garden's a lot of, was Spike there?
Yeah.
Spike was right there.
Yeah. Front row. I mean, it was, you're walking, I mean, you're on the court and it's bad enough, and it's the music and the people and everything else. And then you look around at who's sitting in Celebrity Row, New York, the Rangers and the Knicks games. I mean, everybody's there. I mean, it was so bad. I mean, and then 20,000 people are booing you.
Oh, New York fans.
I mean, it was it was terrible.
They'd have found a way to. You could have hit the rim and it could have went in. They would probably.
I started therapy the week after that. It was like, it was terrible.
Yeah, how'd it go?
Not good.
No,
not good.
Here we are.
Here we are. Do you guys ever get to the Razor? I know you went to the game last year.
Yeah.
Did you ever get to the games?
I've been to a few basketball, one or two football.
I'm excited. I mean, I think with Calipari, I think now that we're in the SEC schedule, because I'm not going to lie, I'm a little perplexed as to why we've been having the attendance problems we've been having the first few games of the John Calipari era, which has been a little bit weird. But now that the SEC schedule's here, and I mean, there's not a dud in that whole thing. This is a terrifying conference as far as the strength of schedule.
But he's an Ole Miss fan, so you're gonna have.
Are you really?
You're gonna have to give him some grief next week.
My daughter goes there.
Oh, congrats!
And so that's the first game I've been to here in probably 3 or 4 years.
Football game?
Yeah, and you did an excellent job.
Well,
I was like, there's John out there.
Yeah,
you know?
I love it. I love doing that.
So we moved here, and in 95.
Okay.
And I think you were on the keg then.
I had just started on the keg in 94.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was like, I know he's been doing this.
Forever.
I mean, Northwest Arkansas is lucky to have had you this long.
Well, I love it here, and I'm not originally from here, and I think most people that either listen to my show or know me, I don't make a secret of the fact that I'm from Colorado. And
Where you're from, Matthew?
Yeah.
Neighbors.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
Southeast of Denver.
Like Arvada?
So I'm out by Parker.
Oh, my best friend he lives right next to Castle Pines.
But everyone from there that comes here is like, I know why you moved. Like it's pretty special.
Parker's amazing. That's a great area. I mean, you're so far south that you're almost halfway to Colorado Springs down there, and that's an incredible area. My best friend since I was in kindergarten lives in Parker, and he's lived in the same neighborhood for 20 years. Loves it. But what I love about Fayetteville and the U of A, and you're not going to say it's in the mountains because it's in the hills and the Ozarks and things like that, and Boulders and the literal Flatirons and the mountains of the Rockies. It does remind me a little bit of Boulder. Fayetteville does. Not only is it a little bluer, it's also the university lifestyle, and it's all on one drag, and it reminds me a lot of Boulder, which I grew up next to, which is great. But I came here in '91 to go to school and play baseball. And I just fell in love with it, and I haven't left.
Were you there when Crossett was there, or was he after you, Scott Crossett?
He was after me.
Okay.
Scott was after me, and he was also talented, and good, as opposed to me, who was not. I tried to walk on the Arkansas team, and I had an invited walk on from Coach DeBryan, and then I got here, and guys like Scott Brocale and all these dudes whose arms just go down to their knees, and they're 6'4", and they throw 90 as they wake up out of bed, and I couldn't throw 90 out of a moving car, and I was like, what am I doing?
Were you after Clint Branham or before him? Do you know Clint?
I think before.
Okay.
Yeah, I was early 90s.
Okay.
And I just had no business trying to play on that team. None. And that was cool. And and Coach DeBryan, who, as everyone knows, is the single nicest human being there is, was consoling me when I came to tell him, I'm wasting y'all's time. This is ridiculous. And he's like, oh, you could still be a manager. You could shag flies. You could come out to batting practice. I mean, he was so nice. Like, I mattered to this guy, but that's who Coach DeBryan is. And he's just a cool guy. But that's what I figured out quickly. I had no right or any interest in playing college baseball.
So were you majoring in journalism, broadcasting?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This was your dream to get into this type of stuff.
Yeah, and I came to the U of A before Larry Foley, and I don't know if anybody who is watching this podcast knows Larry Foley, but he is
of the three visitors watching the podcast.
Larry Foley is the department. He is the person who is responsible for how great the broadcast program at the U of A is. I left in 94, 95, and then he arrived the next year.
He waited for you to finish.
Yeah, is John gone? Okay. I'm going to go to the U of A now that we got that clown out of there. But he's the reason why that broadcast program is a top national broadcast program in colleges in America. And my son just graduated from there a couple of weeks ago, and I went there and I loved it, but it wasn't what it is now. I'll put it that way. There was no TV studio. There was no anything. And my time at the U of A versus what someone who goes there now is vastly different. Yeah.
And so when you graduated, you went right into the radio show?
I actually quit school to go into radio.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You didn't graduate?
No. They came to me.
Neither did you, Matt. Look at that. You guys got a lot in common.
Yeah.
It was my senior year, and they came to me. I had been doing nights, and they didn't like the morning guy, and they took me to, I don't know what breakfast place was over by the mall that doesn't exist anymore, and they go, would you like to do mornings, and here's what we're going to pay you. And I don't even like saying what they offered me that I quit school for because it's awful. And I said, absolutely. And so I got my first morning show like 9 months after I started in radio, and I've been doing it ever since. But I don't recommend quitting school to do something like that. That was I got lucky on that one.
That's a heads up for all the youth watching.
Well, my kid 2 years in, I mean, he graduated from Harbor in 2020 when
That's a big deal.
Not Harvard.
Harbor.
Yeah.
Oh,
He graduated from Harvard.
That's a big deal. It's like, I know people from Harbor. I really thought he said Harvard.
But he graduated from Harbor in 2020 when COVID was
I'm over
happening.
here drinking.
And it was awful. And then he went to the U of A. We tried to put him in a dorm during COVID, which is even dumber. And so 2 years in, he's like, this sucks. Like, I can't meet people. I don't get to go anywhere. Everything's in Zoom meetings. And his first year or two of college it sucked. And so he wanted to quit, and he just wanted to go do what he wanted to do. And we had to just be like, Jack, you're so close. And he finally graduated.
So what's he doing? Is he doing broadcasting? He's
making movies. He has been on the cast and on the Fixer to Fabulous with the Marses. And
do you know those people?
I've never met them.
You just met one right here.
What? Get out of here.
Hold on.
Amazing. So what's his name?
Jack Williams. And he was on he was like a runner, and he was like a PA, and he would help.
I remember
seen him.
Yeah. And he didn't know if that was the kind of direction he wanted to go into. He thought the world of everyone who worked there, but he's like, I just don't think
not everyone. I mean, there's
no, literally, he didn't complain about anybody.
Yeah, PA is a tough job.
Yeah, because they pretty much get everything thrown on them.
Yeah, and he did, and then he had opportunities for movies, and he was like, man,
but he was able to put that on his resume.
Absolutely, and
that's all that counts.
And he loved his experience with it. But I think there was a project that came open in like El Paso. And he was like, I got to go. And that's kind of the nature of what he wants to do, as you know.
That's the nature of the whole industry.
Yeah, you have to be ready to go.
And he hated it. He was like, I got to go. And so he took off. And
can you ask him, can we get him on the phone to see which of the Mars family was the worst to him? Because I bet it was probably Matt.
No. He had nothing but kind things to say about his experience.
But it is everyone thinks it's all glamorous, but when you get in there, it's
far from it.
Especially the what he did.
Production.
He's been doing heavy lifting since he got into it. He was a camera guy for RSN on the basketball court. In fact, one of my favorite moments is when I'm doing all my stuff on the court, and he's the camera guy, and he's just doing it.
Cool.
It felt like it was just me and him out there. It was so neat, and I loved that. So he's been working cameras, baseball, football, basketball, gym backs, you guys. And it's his passion. It's his love. He wants to make movies. And so,
that's awesome.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
And it's a small world how this just kind of happened.
That is wild.
So Matt is Dave's brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I'm Dave's brother-in-law.
Get out of town.
And we pulled Josh along.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we brought him along to do
He dug it. I'll say that. He had a lot of respect, and he goes, man, what an operation that is. He had no idea. He got there, and he's like, this is...
He talks a lot better of it than what we do.
It would have been great if we would have played this out a little bit more. Be like, those Mars guys were a bunch of assholes. no, but there's one sitting next to you right now.
I'd love to give some sort of tea on that, but there isn't. He loved it, and he hated the fact that it didn't work out, but he had to go do what he was doing in El Paso.
Yeah.
I can't even talk about it.
And I think you have to be that way.
Oh, you have
with
to.
What
he knows that's the nature of the business, and he's got to just be ready at a moment's notice to kind of whatever production's doing whatever, and he had to go. Yeah, it's a tough deal, but
sometimes you just got to go, Matt.
Yeah, that's his passion, his movie making and all that stuff. So
that's exciting.
Yeah.
Now I need to do a little research and figure out who this kid is. Make sure that he gets taken care of.
Well, he's a better looking, funnier, more talented, kinder version of me.
But that is all our kids anyway, right?
I can't speak for anyone else's kids, but my kid is. He's just he's fantastic. We got lucky with him. He's a good dude.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Can we go into the radio show?
We can go into anything you want. This is your show.
Well,
no, it's yours. Really.
It's really
you.
We're hoping you're going to share this on social media.
I'd be delighted to share this.
And
on
we get more than
media.
12 viewers.
Oh, come on now. we get at least 2 dozen.
2 dozen.
Yeah.
Well, Rob brings about 2 or 3 of them every
at least.
Mom.
Yeah.
I saw you had Donnie on as well. And I'm not going to lie. I saw Donnie on there. I go, this is a podcast. I mean, this is because I have a lot of respect for Donnie.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
We got Donnie on.
I'm still trying to get him to fit in my size, but he's working on it.
No, he's a great guy. He's a friend, longtime friend. And so I saw Donnie on, and I just went, well, I got to do that because, I mean, he's got his old back room of his place.
Oh, yeah.
Where I've had many a maker's mark with Donnie and the gang.
Yeah, we've had great guests. I mean, I'm glad that you wanted to come in and join us. I don't know why people want to keep coming in, but we've had a good group in here. Ben Blakeman comes in. He's been in.
Yeah,
we had Barry from Blue in recently.
Yeah. Did you say Ben Blakeman?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Bobby was looking at you.
I saw your tutor over there.
Yeah, I love this thing. This is the best watch I've ever had. Shout out Ben Blakeman.
Shout out.
Love it. Yeah, love it.
This is the new wing at Blakeman's been called Bobby Nelson wing.
Oh,
I wouldn't go that far, but they
he spends a lot of money there.
They have an actual new tutor section.
Oh, a tutor section.
Yeah.
Because they just
Tutor
finished the
section.
build out, right?
Yes, that's right.
Congratulations,
Yeah, it's
Ben.
amazing.
By the way,
Congratulations to you on having your own private wing.
That would be Brewer, not Nelson.
So let's go to the radio show. So you and Deke, how many years together now?
it'll be 20 that he and I have been doing a show together. November 3rd, 2005. Was our first show together on 93 through the Eagle. And he's been my guy 20 years. And
Never an argument, of course, right?
you know what? We don't. And I'll tell you why. We don't argue because we have such diverse skill sets. We have completely different things that we tackle in having our show be what it is. He is in charge of all the imaging. So when you hear the liners and you hear everything like, 94.9 Radio John Deke, that's all. He produces those. He is the one who, by and large, picks the music. The music that you hear on there, it is something that we wanted to kind of sound like KBCO in Denver, which is a station. It's called World Class Rock, 97.3 KBCO. That's kind of our model for our station because there's nothing like it around Northwest Arkansas. And so he's in charge of the music, the imaging. I am in charge of the sales. I get all the partners. I do all the advertising, and that's what I do. And it works out really well. It's been something from that standpoint we've been doing for about 14 years.
See, Josh, like Matt and I do what he does, and then you do what his partner does.
Yeah.
I was going to ask John,
It's perfect.
it sounds like a 50-50 split, and here's like a 95-5 split on workload. So I was going to ask you for some tips on how you can kind of get your partner to do some of the work.
He works well. We both work very hard. We are a 2-man entire staff. I mean, it's just us. All the promotions, all the social media, all the on air. We do 2 shows a day. We do at mornings and afternoons. And then we also host shows on 92 on the Ticket. We do the Razorback recap. We also do the triple double with Courtney Mims of KNWA. It's a lot.
What did Josh have to promise you to
Yeah.
get you to come in?
How did we
today?
get this?
I mean, I'm kind of
Were you
curious.
just bored?
I gotta be honest.
great.
When I try, when I see other people doing their own media,
You felt bad for us. There it is.
He's like, you guys may
He
want
went
to
on our
talk.
YouTube.
You
He was
may
like,
want to
oh.
talk to Deke a little bit. Your media and editing.
He went on our YouTube. He was like, 4 views last week. Okay.
I literally, I've kind of taken it to where, I mean, there's been people who have given me a chance. There's been people who have been like, I believe in this guy and what he's doing. And when I find or when I see podcasts or people trying to get their own footprint in media, I try to encourage it. I try to be positive about it, and I try to help in any way I can. And so that's something I like doing. I find that the first 10 years of my career, I was such a competitive a-hole. I was just
We're a passion project.
I mean,
Yeah.
I was so bad, and then but I think you reach a point where you're like, you're not helping anyone being that way, and you're just alienating people. And so I try to be really positive and encouraging for people that do and try to create their own path, especially in media.
Well, I'll give you the real story. He's being kind. I'll give you the real
Yeah.
story. So everybody knows who John is because he's just got such a big personality in the community and does so much on the charitable side. Well, I want to cover that as well. And so we're at a charity event down in Springdale at some beer event. I forgot what it was.
Was it on Emma?
It was the beer. We had the steaks that we couldn't cut really well. And
Wait a minute.
You had just gotten married.
It was right. It was with the Natural State Beer Company.
Yes. And so I'm sitting at the table.
Shout out to Mark and Dan.
Shout out. M&D.
Absolutely.
And so we're sitting at the table. I knew John was being pleasant, and I was chatting with him. He'd just gotten married, and we're trying to cut these steaks with plastic forks, and my wife's there, and we're chit-chatting. And so I was talking to his wife. I was actually trying to recruit his wife to come work at our barbershop.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're talking a little bit there. And so we became Facebook friends and this, that, and the other thing. And then I ran into him at the Razorback game, and so we were just chatting via Facebook. And I said, you want to come on the podcast? And it kind of got cold. And then I saw him the other day at the game.
And by the way, when he says he saw me at the game, well, he was literally 15 feet behind me.
I thought maybe he was like 15 rows up there yelling like this.
So I'm on the row where I'm the officials are, and I'm there, and the PA guys, I'm the PA, and then the play-by-play guys, and I just real quick look at my phone, and it's Josh, and he goes, Hey, I'm right behind you. Now, I don't know what that means because there's 50 rows and 8 sections of right behind me, and I don't know where that means. So I look over my left shoulder, I see nothing. And then I'm like, well, he must be over my right shoulder. And I mean, I turn around and he's right there.
Oh, is that the night you went with the girls?
I took the girls sitting second row.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, the girls' game was. I can't believe that they don't get more people to show up. That was.
It's fun.
I liked a blast.
I enjoy it. And I just recently, for 19 years, I was the PA guy for the gymnastics team. And I had to cut something because I do 6 things for the Razorbacks. I'm just like, this is ridiculous. I have to stop something. And it broke my heart because I love doing the gymbacks PAing. And that's a hell of a program, by the way, that Coach Weaver has going there. But I got to say, I think a lot of these sports that are not football, basketball, baseball, I really think people should support those programs, especially like soccer and softball and women's basketball. I'm obviously biased about, and volleyball. There's some really, really good squads and programs on that campus that just do not get the juice from fans that they really should do.
So we went down. I went to the ladies' game on. It was a Sunday and the men's game on Monday.
Yeah, it was
back. The ladies' game, 2,000 people maybe.
You're being generous. Around 2,000.
And 2 concession stands open in the whole arena. Tickets were, I paid $15. I was sitting second row, parked next lot over, and I went the next day for the guys. And the 4 tickets I bought for second row were not as expensive as the tickets I got for my son to sit 30 rows up. Paid $20 to parked a mile and a half away, and it was like, and the girls it was a fun. I mean, I was disappointed in hindsight that I don't go to more games there.
Yeah,
but man, I'm telling you. Big turnout for the men. I mean, Calipari's a big draw, but
obviously
Higginbottom, and I mean, she's fantastic.
Yeah, she transferred in from Arkansas State this past year. There was a lot of turnover on the roster, and Izzy is head and shoulders the leader.
She reminds me of
team.
Caitlin Clark a little bit the way she plays. She goes to the basket quite a bit. She's very aggressive.
She gets to the line. I think I saw where she leads the NCAA in free throw attempts, and she's also 4th in the country in scoring at like 23.5 points a game, which is bonkers. And she's a great. She plays really hard, and she's a distributor. I mean, everything goes through her as far as what happens on the offensive end, for sure. Yeah.
So that long-winded from me. That's how we got him here.
There you go.
So you texted him, and he
no. I don't have his phone number.
Like from me to you, and he was like,
"Let's be clear.
I can't say no to this guy."
Let's be clear. I don't have his phone number. That would be taking the relationship a whole other level.
That was why you were like,
Facebook
we're
Messenger.
Facebook friends.
It was Facebook Messenger.
I'd be happy to give you my phone number. I mean, come on.
Well, look at this.
Yeah, but his wife doesn't allow that. So
that's not at all true.
Well, he's newly married.
I am.
Lovely lady.
Congrats.
I was trying to recruit her to come cut hair at the gents' place, and she's like,
do you know what? I mean, I think it says more about the situation she's in. She's at a great place, if I'm allowed to talk
Please,
about.
of course.
Because I don't want to come in here and just start talking about a competing business
No,
with you guys. But I think it's a different vibe entirely. I think the Jen's place and where she is, which is Bang Salon on College, they used to be on the square in Fayetteville, and then they moved to the AQ Outback building, which was vacant for a long time, and then got made into a salon, and they were able to actually move into it. They're a totally different vibe, but she's at Bang Salon, and I'm obviously biased as can be, but she's tremendous. She can do everything.
You have good head of hair. She's cut your hair nicely.
Yeah.
I don't normally say that to anybody that's not one of my clients. She's done a nice job.
Yeah, she's the best, and I'm biased again, but she really is, and she does everything from colors to extensions and short cuts and men's cuts and all that stuff. She's fantastic. Kendall, look her up.
Shout out, yeah,
Kendall.
Yeah, and her whole salon's great too. I think the reason why she wouldn't consider going anywhere is because she's just got such great camaraderie with those people.
Well, we have some new news coming out. We may be able to convince her with the new news. I can't share it yet on the podcast, but we got some exciting stuff about to happen up here. So
it's funny. She and I had the conversation. I said, "Babe, what happens if Josh talks to me about wanting me to promote the Jen's place?" And she goes, "You got to do what you got to do. I mean, business is business." I said, "Babe, they're not like Bang Salon.
No, very different.
Very different vibe. Both can be amazing in different lanes." Yes. And she's like, "Well, you got to do what you got to do." So I said, "Okay, you're on the record."
I learned in the barbershop industry 6 years ago because I don't cut hair. I learned there's so many people in this community and so many people to cut hair that it should not be competitive. And Fayetteville's a whole different marketplace anyway.
Right.
And listen, she's fantastic, and I would be honored and thrilled to have her. But she's doing a good thing down there with the existing business.
She's incredible. She is great at what she does. She is great at marketing. She is great with TikTok and Reels and things like that. My mom actually reached out to me. My mom lives in Centerton, and she said, "Look, I would love to get my haircut by Kendall every time, but that's way down in Fayetteville. I'm in Centerton." And she's like, "Do you know anybody in Bentonville?" I put it on my Facebook page, and I stopped counting at like 50 different stylists that got tagged in that thread, and it just kind of goes to show you the kind of talent that exists in Benton County alone from a hair stylist standpoint. It was impressive.
I mean, we cut Rob's hair.
A lot of hair.
You look good, man.
He looks good.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
For haircut.
I was gonna say. I mean, there's a lot going on.
I mean, there was a lot more up there before I started going to Jen's place. But it's fine.
You should have saw me before I started going to this place.
It's fine. I mean, before John, that's why he got married. I mean, his hair used to look like yours.
I used to, I look like Michael Keaton.
Just to
before I got
clarify
married.
for the viewers, I've been like this for a while, so it has nothing to do with the Jen's place.
That's okay.
We try to help.